Hello! We have a smooth weekend ahead of us. Naturally, of course, there might be some challenges that we have to overcome, as always. But overall, I think most people are going to be experiencing a very emotionally enjoyable, smooth weekend of spending time with loved ones, especially family, and just enjoying life. So let's look at the good stuff, and then we'll get into some potential challenges to navigate this. So first, we have Moon in Cancer, trine Venus and Jupiter and Neptune, all in Pisces for Saturday. And again, this is the major time to spend time with loved ones, especially females in your family. Call your mom, call your sisters if you have sisters. Have a close, have a good lunch with a close female friend. This is a beautiful feminine energy. And this doesn't matter if you're female or male. Or however you identify, this energy is about the feminine essence that we all have within us, just like we all have the masculine essence. So that feminine energy, enjoy talking about emotions. And I think that's one of the challenges is if you're not expressing yourself emotionally, if you feel down, if you feel stuck, if you're feeling kind of potentially maybe a little wistful, or potentially focusing too much on love or something like that, with Venus and Pisces, that can contribute to that. And water energy in general can maybe sometimes get a bit down. So if you're experiencing that, which I think is probably the big challenge for Saturday, then it's really important to just say, okay, one of two probable solutions. Either one, reach out to the females in your life, or even males in your life who have that they're in touch with their feminine side, they're emotionally available, and share how you're feeling, commiserate, spend some time together, spend an evening together. I think especially spending time together over a meal is a big feature here with Moon in Cancer. So this is a wonderful time. Friday was great for this too, but I think Saturday is in some ways even more so, because it's directly trine, Moon is trine Jupiter and Neptune. So this is a beautiful time for healing. And I think this is the second solution, and there might be some kind of combination here. So maybe you start out the night with the meal and then you spend time on your own. But either way, this is the other solution, is spending time on your own to go deep into your emotions and to reflect and to introspect and to understand, okay, why am I feeling this way? How can I utilize this energy in a positive way? How can I sublimate any kind of negative feelings into a positive way? And doing anything that's emotionally expressive will be able to do this for you, whether you're listening to music that really makes you feel deeply, or you're singing, or you're painting, or you're seeing other people's emotional expression. I think that's a key thing for Saturday. And art plays a big role for Sunday as well when Moon goes into Leo. But I think to avoid the challenge of getting too caught up in our own emotions, that's what Saturday is all about. Oh, before I forget, as always, I'm doing readings. Info is in the description to book a reading with me. I love doing readings. So I'm very happy. I've been doing readings for over 10 years. So if you have any kind of reading that you want to cover, any kind of question that you have, or you're just curious, you just want to see what your birth chart's all about, come get a reading. Even if you just do a small reading, you can get a lot from it. As you know, I'm a Gemini and I talk quick, so we can get a lot covered in a short amount of time. But I always do recommend a good long reading for the first time reading, especially like an hour is really solid. There's so much good stuff to cover, and we can't even cover everything in an hour, but we can cover really like the basic, I would say like the comprehensive, extended basics of your chart. We can really understand your chart during that time. So I always love doing that. But yes, so when Moon goes into Leo on Sunday, this too is very smooth. We have the Moon trine Sun, Moon trine Mercury. Oh, one last thing I want to mention for Saturday is with Moon square Sun and Mercury. This isn't. So usually when the Moon is square the Sun, whether it's the first square or the third square, basically whether it's a week after the new moon or a week before a new moon, it's a time of tension. So there might be a slight tension here, but honestly, Sun is in Aries, Moon is in Cancer. It's a pretty smooth energy. So there might be some kind of tension, some kind of push and pull between even parts of yourself or you and another person. And essentially, again, the big theme of today is masculine and feminine, because Aries is that kind of stereotypical masculine. And again, we're not really looking at genders here. It's more just the nature of energy, but there's a correlation with genders as well. Aries is one of those for us males, one of our energies, and Cancer for females is that energy. But again, we all have both. I have Moon in Cancer. I've always been deeply in touch with my feminine side, and I love expressing my feminine side, even as a straight guy. But that's the whole point. Is regardless of orientation, regardless of how we identify, we want to have a good balance here. So I think that's a big theme for Saturday. Is we want to be comfortable in our masculine, we want to be comfortable in our feminine. There's so much more that we can talk about, is like what masculine and feminine is, but essentially, it's going to take way too long. I write about it in my book, but you can Google and find online, divine masculine, divine feminine. You can get a lot of information there. We'll cover that more in other videos. But essentially, kind of very broad summary. If you can feel very comfortable with feeling emotionally available, that's the divine feminine in a very nurturing way. And if you can feel comfortable in your emotions, because that's divine masculine as well, but the emotions of being more self-confident, self-guided, self-directed. And again, we don't want to get caught up in the genders here. We all have this essence, this masculine essence within us. You could also look at it as like yin and yang in the Chinese philosophical tradition. I believe Taoism. But yeah, we all have both. And I think that's the key for Saturday. We want to have a nice mix. So we're guiding ourselves in the very divine masculine, but we're also very emotionally available in the divine feminine. And interacting with other people too, this is important to keep in mind. And if somebody's out of balance, let them be out of balance and just focus on your own well-being. If you can help, great, but it is what it is. So I think lastly for Sunday, Moon goes into Leo. This is in some ways even smoother than Saturday when the Moon is in Cancer, because the Moon is now trine Sun and Mercury in Aries. We are missing out on the trine with Pisces, but we didn't really miss out on it. We experienced it and we moved forward. That's all we can really do in life. But I think that's really good to keep in mind. A Saturday is our big time to go deep into our emotions and to introspect and to reflect and to share our feelings with trusted loved ones who we feel safe around, who we can be vulnerable with, and also make space for them to be vulnerable as well. And then Saturday is not really that vulnerable. Moon and Leo transit is about emotional vulnerability in a sense, but not really, not like the water energy. Fire energy is much more about expressing emotion externally. It's extroverted emotion. So for Sunday, that's going to be more so the focus of having fun, expressing ourselves. If anything, we want to be a little mindful because it's a lot of fire energy. We have Sun and Mercury in Aries and the Moon in Leo on Sunday. So we want to, again, be watching what we're saying at this time. This goes for Saturday as well, but especially for Sunday, because Mercury being in Aries as well as Sun, like we mentioned last time, it's very possible to just speak without even thinking and then doing without even thinking. I have so many like little bumps and cuts and stuff, especially on my shins, because I'm just like, I never have this happen, really, not really. Usually I'm pretty like chill and patient, but over the last couple of weeks with these Aries energies, I've been bumping into things like even pretty gnarly. I had to like actually use a band-aid and stuff, which is weird for me. So for all of us, again, we just want to keep this in mind. Let's take our time. Let's breathe. Let's enjoy our egos, especially on Sunday, but let's not have temper tantrums. Let's bring out our inner child in the best possible way. Let's be creative and expressive and fun and positive instead of being a brat. All of us can be brats, and that's just not where we need to be at. And I think one last thing, this is kind of looking ahead a bit. We'll do a video for this for Monday, but I'm trying to calculate exactly. Maybe it's even a little bit more Tuesday, something like that. Sunday, Monday, maybe late Monday. But as much as Sunday is going to be pretty smooth, I think for most people overall, I think the day after that, Monday, maybe even first part of Tuesday, is going to be a little bit more potentially challenging. There's no such thing as a bad transit, so it's all good. But it's just good to kind of mentally prepare, like really enjoy yourself this weekend. Obviously responsibly, of course. We don't want to give into any addictive tendencies, especially with all this Pisces energy. We want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and in moderation, but really enjoy ourselves, because Monday isn't bad, but it is a lot of pressure potentially. But we could use that pressure to build too. Again, we'll cover that as time goes on. But I think that's a good kind of full circle of big challenge, if you're not experiencing a smooth weekend, is probably because Mars is conjunct Saturn. And again, we're not blaming Mars conjunct Saturn. I'm just saying if you're not experiencing this, then maybe this particular conjunction is really important to look at and ask yourself, okay, how can we work with this better? So how do we work with this better, whether we're having a good time or a tough time? Essentially, pretty much what we were talking about before, we got to be patient. We need to keep in mind two things: the long term, our big vision, and then also making progress in the short term. So it's very easy to get to feel burdened by this potentially burdened by this transit. But that being said, there's a lot of smoothness to this too. I think more so than not, it's more like, okay, I know where I want to go, but it's taking me time to get there. And again, we just want to be patient with that. We don't want to rush things. Rushing and forcing things never works. It just creates more of a mess that we then have to clean up. Kind of like, bumping and bleeding my calves and junk. It's, yeah. So patience. Work hard. And if you don't know where you're going in the long term, what your long-term goal is, this is a really good time to reflect on that and to figure that out, especially with this weekend of going into our emotions. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. Peace.